Hello folks, welcome back to Sound Design for Relaxation, Meditation, and Sleep. I'm your host, Dr. Lawrence W. Moore of the Wayfarer Project. The doctorate is in music composition. I am not a licensed medical professional. So this episode is going to be focused on my most recent sound experiment for relaxation, meditation, and sleep, which I will now abbreviate as RMS. That is sound experiment 14 that has light rain, binaural beating done in a slightly different way. I'm using A4 to 32 hertz based tuning and an added frequency of 786 hertz. In the overall stack of binaural beating, I'll show the harmonic relationships between the tones that I'm using. And I'm also using some ambient music in it that I play, real time as I record. And so I'll talk about the sound design of these aspects. This series overall does build on some prior episodes. So if you are kind of new to the series and you see VCV RAck being used and you need to learn more about it or want to learn more about it, you can do so from tutorials I have on this channel. Also, you can go earlier in the episodes of this series to see some of my setup because it has evolved and changed over time. And usually I just show the new things rather than covering every single thing, because that would be repetitive for all the people who have been following the series. Special thank you to Amelia Bedelia for the very kind words in the most recent sound experiment, number 14 there. Number 15 will be a 2-hour version of basically the same techniques and principles. The melody will be similar, but since it's expanded and twice as long, there'll be more space. And, I'm looking forward to recording that tomorrow. It will release on Sunday, as is customary. I release new episodes, or basically I call them sound experiments, each Sunday, so you can get to sleep for Monday morning. I should add, once again, as a reminder, I am aware that YouTube is putting ads in these, and not just at the beginning, during, and once again, RMS, relaxation, meditation, and sleep. Meditation and sleep don't necessarily go hand in hand with Temu ads, or whatever else. So, I'm going to say that, when I reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time after 365 days, I will have control over where ad placement is in my videos. And so I will be able to take them out of, basically happening during any of these sound experiments, or by that time, they'll be more than just experiments. So that is a future plan. The subscriber count looks like, well, maybe by the end of 2024, I might be at 1,000 subscribers. I would appreciate any help people can do with that. Share this channel and series with a friend, share on social media, and also hitting the like button and commenting on the videos does help the algorithm get the videos disseminated. So I really appreciate any support you can give in that area. For the time being, since the watch hours are still very important to this channel, I will say this: I listen to these sound experiments by using my cell phone and using a browser called Brave on the phone. Very important that it is on the phone and using that browser. And I will say nothing more than that. I also don't log in, so hopefully, that might help some people out. Well, anyway, let's get to the episode. Here we go. Okay, I have to be zoomed out this far to include the whole patch on one screen. Just to give you a lay of the land for those who've been following the series and are aware of my mix setup, here is my standard mix setup at the bottom, just with the addition of the recorder module from VCV to record the audio. And then this row, when we talk about it, this is the row for the light rain up until about here. I have basically shown episodes in the past in this series on making rain sounds in VCV RAck. And this will be the most recent one. And I did do an episode on it, like the technique that I'm using now. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. If you're having trouble with it, I'd be happy to do another episode on it just to, iron out any details. And then here, there's a little bit at the end is a 786 hertz tone. The rest of the binaural beating tones are up here in this row. I just didn't want to make this row even longer. I put it down here since it is a special frequency in and of itself. And then up here is the sound generation material for what I play on my keyboard. And okay, so now I'm going to zoom in because I need to be zoomed in to see what I'm doing. Okay, let's turn up the volume. You're going to hear the rain come in. That's how the sequence starts. Also, to take full benefit of the sound experiment, you should listen on headphones. And even this episode, if you can listen on headphones, things will definitely sound better, and you'll be able to hear the binaural beating the way it's meant to be. Now, depending on how loud your volume is set to, the rain could either be relaxing, soothing, or maybe a little too intense for you. This is where you are able to adjust the volume. I do everything in relationship to the level of the rain. So, if the rain is a little uncomfortable, you can turn it down overall. You will hear everything else just fine. So, this is a way to really choose your own level. Some people prefer to hear it as a little bit more distancing, or some people prefer to hear it as if they are in the rain. Okay? So, that's up to you. Now, I begin with this, I think in the 2-hour version, I might play around at the beginning a little bit with adjusting the range sound a little bit. If we're using headphones, you were probably able to hear that as maybe an increase in the downpour of rain. And this as a decrease. Kind of like in the distant downpour itself. So I work with that a little bit just to increase the realism of the rain so it doesn't become too static. But I do that as I feel the desire to. And then I begin with the music, which I play in real time. Now, I have finished playing the initial, idea of the melody, and it's somewhat improvised, but I have some ideas that I keep the same. But what is playing right now is one of the binaural beating tones. I've decided instead of using static binaural beating tones, I would add some modulation to it. And I have done this in a previous episode, I've talked about it. But basically using this band pass filter, basically a bell curve, to oscillate throughout the frequency spectrum of the tone. The central pitch of the tone is 108 hertz, 1/4 of 432. So it is an A 2 octaves below A 432. On the left channel is 106 hertz. On the right channel is 110 hertz. So you get the 4 pulses per second, which is a borderline rate between delta waves and theta waves. So it's partially a delta wave state, partially a theta wave state. And the rest of the harmonic stack is A 216, which is the octave above 108. And then 3 times 108 is 324, which is here. And that would be an E. I basically approach these next two tones, which are in a harmonic relationship to the root tone, by playing a melody to lead into them. And of course, in the sound experiments, you don't have me talking about it either, which is a plus. The melody will be a little longer than that, but just to demonstrate, now that I've rested on this tone, A216 enters. And basically I will continue up the ladder like that, playing melodic material until we get to this next pitch, which is the E at 324 hertz, which means the tone on the left is 322 and the tone on the right is 326. And then I play melody again before bringing in finally A432. And then I change up the harmonic relationships where A432, which is here, as a central perceived frequency, is then followed up by 2, 3, and 4 times its frequency. So that would be 834, no, A432 times 2 is 864. Then 3 times A432. 1296, and then 4 times A432, which is 1728. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to pull them in here. These would come in one at a time gradually with melody in between each. But since this is a demo, and what I typically do here is after they're all in, I very gradually reduce them back a little bit. And of course, this is all done very gradually, so none of them really stands out like a sore thumb. And to keep the mind from noticing a lot of this going on, I do include some melodic material here and there to make it more musical. It helps to hide the tones a little bit so they could do their work without being too, static and monotonous. And then last but not least, we have the 786 hertz tone. And usually I like to drop out 864 hertz as I bring it in so that it doesn't create any discord between the two tones. It's that higher frequency tone. Here, I'll make it stand out a little bit. That one. It's not the highest in the stack, but it is there. And gradually I do kind of pull out some of the lower harmonics. While playing a melody to kind of keep it from sounding drastic. there's the 768 hertz tone. Now, interestingly enough, I came across this in a dream, actually. I was basically, it's a late morning dream, like when you're in that borderland state between sleep and wakefulness. And I was feeling a bit crappy that morning, but I felt myself healing and stuff too. And somehow my healing was me working on a patch in VCV RAck. And the number 768 appeared right in front of my face, like coming out of one of the modules. And so I'm like, okay, what's the significance of this? I mean, my only exposure to it is like, yeah, it's a power of 2 number, and 1024 by 768 was an old screen resolution. That's all I thought of, but I did a search online, and a YouTube video came up of someone who uses it in meditation, and at least said in the title, crown chakra. And now I know the frequencies of all the different 7 chakras vary based on who you ask and what website you go to or what book you read. They're different. Usually all of them have 432 in there as one of the chakras, but it varies which one. But this is the first time I saw 768 as like crown chakra or a chakra of any kind. So I thought I'd throw it in. And now you've been listening to it for over a minute. Maybe you could tell me, does it do anything for you? At least in this sound experience, it is kind of pretty the way it fits in with the others. So I'm fine with it. And since it came from a dream, I'm cool with it. Now I'll work with these binaural beats really delicately, more so than I'm doing now. But I bring them back in, because basically on experiment 14, which is only an hour long, the whole second half hour is just binaural beating and rain. Because by this time, it's time for the mind to have enjoyed its lullaby from the music. You know, that stuff. So that it can then just hover in a state of tranquility, hopefully. With some very delicate binaural beating. And that happens a lot more gradually in the sound experience, and especially in the upcoming one, since it'll be 2 hours long. Everything will be real gradual. But that's basically how I would like to end it for like the last hour. Just have this, but maybe quiet enough that there's just like a shimmering light on the distance, or in the distance. There we go. And so anyway, hopefully that gives you some insight on what's going on, and maybe you can help me out by letting me know in the comment section about what things are working for you, maybe what's not. Everyone's different, so you know, I usually take comments as a way to maybe have some inspiration to try a different thing, especially with Amelia Bedelia out there. The melody sound is basically trying to be a combined, almost like turning a Tibetan singing bowl into a wind instrument. And stuff. So yeah, all these comments do give me inspiration, helps me try out new things and keep the series going. So I believe that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. If it's been helpful or informative for you at all, please hit that like button and let me know what you think in the comments section. Until next time, take care and stay sleepy.